the element of inclusivity. The first years when we did public participation in general, we had very minimal representation from women. In fact, in 2014, we had only 692 women out of the whole county that attended our meetings. But we have since then gone through an affirmative process. We try to reach them through their levels, and then also when they come to the meetings, they are encouraged to speak. So last year we had about 7,000. In this financial year, we had 7,000 participants, which I think is tremendous. Now, we're trying to work with the youth because we also need the voices of the youth. We need the youth to be more active in this process. One of the feedback the youth give us, because of the element of limited resources and the fact that we're only choosing 3 projects per sub-location, their priorities are more software than hardware. You know, the youth want more or less programs around mental health issues. They want programs around HIV prevention, software type things. And when you sit in a meeting and you're trying to decide what are your 3 main priorities, very seldom will those 3 come up as 1, 2, or 3, because there are health care centers to be built, there are dispensaries, there are roads to be built, there are bridges, there are schools. I mean, there's so many other priorities. So we realize that their issues fall out of the way. Now, the good thing about the women's issues is the men have had a good understanding of, at least if the priority is a dispensary and there is no dispensary close to, then we need to build a dispensary. If it's a maternity center, we need to have a maternity center. But now in this financial year budget, we've tried to see something more affirmative towards youth. So we segmented a certain amount of money for youth, and we want them to now bring their projects to us the same way we do with people with disabilities. We give them a certain amount of money in the budget, and then they work a program around that. So inclusivity can be a challenge if you do not address it, but there are mechanisms to address it. The second aspect is managing expectations. A lot is needed, a lot is required. For our counties that were marginalized a long time ago, we really have a lot of work to do. So trying to figure out what are the priorities becomes a big challenge, because everything ends up being a priority. Now, what we realized in the PB process is that if you don't put aside money for the flagship projects and you just subject everything to public participation, then you'll have a budget that has very many small projects, which are very hard to implement and probably have very minimal impact. So you have to do what we call smart budgeting. Smart budgeting says that this amount will go to this amount will go to this. The same way we know how much money goes to recurrent, how much money goes to medicines, and how much money goes to O&M is also in development. You can't just say everything is development, because remember, we have a CIDP that we have to follow. We have the annual development plan. We have the sectoral plans that come from the departments. We have the strategic plans of the departments. So there's so many plans. So if you don't link your planning to your budgeting, then something will get lost. And what we have done as a county is, for especially this financial year, when we went to the public, we asked them to give us priority programs, not projects. Because now we are thinking about the CIDP, second generation CIDP. And now from that priority program, then you'll be able to extrapolate projects on an annual basis. To manage expectations, you have to just be smart about how you do it, so that the segment of the budget that is left to the flagship projects will cover the projects that are in the CIDP, the projects that come out of the sectoral plans, and the projects that come out of the strategic plans of the departments. And then the other projects that are the minute micro projects are the ones that now form, for us it forms 32% of our development budget. So we have 68% that goes to flagship, and then 32% that goes to the small projects. So I would say smart budgeting is a challenge, but we have a solution to it.